A Black executive perspective now presents Need to Know with the award-winning hyphenated Dr. Nsenga Burton. Dr. Burton, what do we need to know?
Good morning and welcome to Need to Know with Dr. Nsenga Burton. I am She. I hope that you are having a fabulous day. Today I want to talk about this brother named Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He is the person whom the U.S. government deported to his home country of El Salvador, where he's being held in a mega prison. The problem is it was an accident. They didn't intend to deport him because he should not have been deported. All right. So unless you've been living under a rock, people have, and this man's from Maryland, everyone from the governor of Maryland has been saying, you need to return this man. The president, 47, is like, I'm not doing anything, right? Because he does not admit, or he's wrong. He has never been held accountable for anything, and he's not thinking he's going to be held accountable for this. And I should have known, and I saw this from a friend's Facebook page, because he said, I knew when he said that they weren't going to be able to return him, that something was wrong. And we should have known that something is absolutely wrong because their refusal to return him, the Supreme Court, most of whom he appointed, is like, you got to bring him back. You got to bring him back and document every day what he's doing and what is happening. They're not doing any of that. And standing 10 toes down on being wrong and definitely being on the wrong side of the history and what is going to probably be one of the worst incidences of, I should say tragedy, because this man is a human being. But one of the greatest tragedies of our time is going to be whatever has happened to this man that they cannot produce. There's such a term called proof of life. Proof of life is when someone is missing or they're gone or they've been taken or held hostage. For example, the hostages in this Israeli hostages in Palestine, right? Or wherever Hamas is keeping them, right? They keep saying they're in Palestine, but they've blown Palestine to bits. So if they're in Palestine, I don't know why they can't find them. But they're when people are taken hostage or prisoner, and sometimes it's because they've done something, and sometimes it's because they have done absolutely nothing at all. In this case with Mr. Garcia, it was a mistake, an error. All right, and it was overzealousness by this administration that wants to deport everybody who's not white and English speaking and male. All right. But what happens in these cases is you ask for a proof of life, right? Proof of life meaning show me something that lets me know that this person is still alive. It could be a time-stamped video, a time-stamped photo. Sometimes it's a written account from somebody who's in charge, and they will come and say, hey, this is Nsenga. I am sitting here with Tony, who's been held prisoner for such and such. I am looking at him. He is breathing. He's in good health or whatever. They'll report on it. They'll sometimes allow a journalist in to embed. That's what we call embedding journalists in different scenarios to come in and to report on the state of the prisoner, if you will. But what has happened is none of that has happened in this particular case. And so it leads many to believe that this man has been killed because he was sent to a mega prison in El Salvador. Now, this is a horrible tragedy if this has happened. We don't know this yet, but this is what people are assuming and have presumed, because you can do both of those words with this case, use both of those words in this case, because they have not been forthcoming with any information about this man, his whereabouts, his state of being, i.e. his health status, and they are refusing to return him, even though every court in the land at every level has said, bring him back. Every diplomat has said, bring him back. Every agency has said, bring him back. And they're refusing to do it. So the idea most people believe that this man is no longer on earth, that he's no longer alive. And why this is dangerous is because the fact that someone can unilaterally do that, make a mistake, and then not correct the mistake is a problem. The fact that you can be erroneously deported, because there was nothing that should have had him deported. They keep saying it was a mistake, but they won't explain how they made the mistake. So there's like, okay, you made this mistake. How are we going to correct this so that it doesn't happen to another American citizen, or it doesn't happen to someone else who is maybe getting their on their proper path to immigration here, but is not a violent offender, is not a criminal, is not, any of those things that or categories that they were using to allegedly deport people. And we're learning that people who have been citizens here, have lived here for a long, long time, are being deported with no criminal record. So it's also dangerous because 47 has floated the idea, and this is what I want you to know. This is what we need to know. This is a test case. This is a test case. They're waiting to see why we haven't turned over the tables or gone to the White House on this, right? Why are we not marching in the streets over this? Because if they get away with this, then trust and believe those super prisons that El Salvador has, the mega prisons with hard labor and all of that, where the president is floating the idea of sending American citizens who are prisoners or who have committed a crime there, is what is going to happen. So this is a test case to see how we, the United States of America, is going to respond. How far can I get away with not following court orders? Will they come and arrest me? Will they hold me in contempt of court? Will they do anything to the people who have held this man in custody? If they can't produce this man or they find out he's dead, what will happen to them? I mean, this is a president who stood with the president of El Salvador, who said it's preposterous to think we're going to return a prisoner to you. So imagine if they send American citizens who have committed crimes of whatever nature, because they deported people who hadn't done anything. So they just decide that Nsenga talks too much on Tony's show. We're just gonna send them down to El Salvador, never to be heard from again, and there's nothing that can be done about it. You don't have any rights. There's no one who will advocate on your behalf. There's no way that you will be returned. All right, imagine if that happens. And that's what it's looking like. So this presidency, what you need to know is this president is testing boundaries. This president has already tested what he can get away with as president and as a former president. All of those felony convictions, and has not served one day in jail. Many of the cases that were against him, they fired all of those people, or they've resigned because they've had so much pressure on them not to proceed. All right. All of these things are tests. And so I just need you to know that we are being tested right now to find out what kind of people we really are. What side of history are we going to be on? Are we going to stand on our democratic principles and ideals? And I would argue that this extends to, although it's not the same, the weight is different because we're talking about human lives, people dying. Although that could happen with them snatching students who are protesting off of campuses and deporting them as well. But what do we stand for? Who are we as a nation? What do we want to be going forward? Who are we? Are we who we say we are? That is what the question is, and that is being tested. And right now we're failing miserably. If I was grading this, we'd be getting an F. All right, so Mr. Garcia deserves due process. He deserves his life. His family deserves to have him in their lives. He deserves to be in a country where he has dedicated his life and had done nothing wrong other than pay taxes, all the things that people have to do to be here. And an error was made. Errors happen. We do understand this, but it's how you respond to the error and the refusal to correct it, the refusal to acknowledge it, no apology to him or his family, and then you're gonna bring another leader, and I say that in quotes, over to say on our ground, American ground. And I'm very patriotic, if you can't tell by now, because I come from a family of veterans on both sides, many different wars. You're going to bring somebody on American soil to tell us what they're not going to do. 47 has lost his damn mind, and he needs to be held accountable. And if Mr. Garcia's whereabouts can't be found, he needs to go. 25th Amendment needs to be invoked. I don't even care if that means J.D. Vance comes up, he comes down, Mike Johnson goes up. Somebody with some damn sense needs to be in charge, or who could potentially have some. I mean, Vance went to Yale, but we see what they're producing. A lot of white supremacists. Sorry, Tony. I know that's your little spot. But a lot of white supremacists coming out of Yale. That's all I'm saying. A lot of fabulous people coming out of Yale, too. I haven't forgotten you, my friends. But the point is, something has to happen. And 47 has to go. He is too dangerous. And he's not only dangerous for America, he's dangerous for himself. All right. So that's it. You need to know. You should be responding to this. You should be calling your Congress people. You should be writing letters. We should be in the streets. You wanted something to march about. We're not talking about people who knew what was going to happen and voted for this fool anyway. We're talking about somebody who was minding their damn business and got caught up in something and now is probably not even walking the earth anymore. And nobody is doing anything about it or can do anything about it because we have a oligarch or whatever term you want to use for him in office, narcissist, mentally unstable person in office, and who needs to go. It's time. He got to go. He's been in too long. It's been not even 3 months, too long. The 19th will be 3 months. Too long. He got to go. All right, that's it. So I want you to tune in next week for another Black Executive Perspective podcast with Tony Tidbit. And Chris, I'm sorry, Chris, I never can remember your last name, but Chris is highly intelligent, historian, wonderful, interesting brother. But they have a great show, so make sure you tune into that and make sure you tune into me.
A Black Executive Perspective.